Okay, morning, it's Friday, August 10th, Parshas Eikef, and we're holding by Hilchos Krishma, and we're talking about the importance of saying Krishma. I'm just going to repeat the line that we learned yesterday, and we finished kind of abruptly. So it says over here that we have to say Krishma with great concentration, with awe, with fear, with trembling, and with zaya, with sweat. When it says sweat, it really doesn't mean that you should be doing the treadmill while you're saying Krishma. It means you should be sweating out of fear, out of nervousness, out of respect. Somebody about to meet the president of a country. I hate to use our current president as an example, but if somebody, let's say you lived 3,000 years ago and you were about to meet Moshe Rabbeinu, you would get dressed in your finest clothes. You'd be nervous. You have butterflies in your stomach. You could not enjoy your cup of coffee with hazelnut cream in it. If you were my wife, you couldn't enjoy it regardless. And although I suspect 3,000 years ago nobody had a nut allergy, I think all these things happened. Actually, I think in the United States. I don't think
a lot of stuff happened.
Yeah.
Like, not to go off topic, in the 1930s, with the processed foods.
Right.
That's when diabetes started to really
take
off.
So anyway, you'd break out in a sweat. So that's what it tells you to do. It's you can't force yourself to break out in a sweat, but you have to be in such a position where you know that you're coming to shul to daven, that who you're davening to, who you're facing. Most people, myself included, we don't take that into account when we walk into shul, that we're about to daven before our Creator. It's really a certain level that you have to get to, where you have to realize that, we talked about before with Charlie about birthdays, that, your parents gave birth to you, but the real Creator is Hashem. And parents, of course, are important. There are three partners in a person, the Gemara says: your father, your mother, and God. Those are the three parts that make up every human being. And this first pasuk of Shema Yisrael is a very awesome pasuk. This is what Yaakov Avinu told his children, and they answered, Baruch Shem Kavod Malchus Olam Vod. There's a cute little joke that I once heard, that there was the zoo that was looking for an ape for their cage. Their ape died, and they were looking for somebody to imitate an ape. They couldn't find a real ape, so they put an ad in the paper that we're looking for somebody who can get dressed in an ape costume and play the part. So this little Jew from Borough Park, needed a job. So he goes and he applies for this job, and gets dressed up, and he's gets into the cage and really gets into this part, starts swinging on the vines back and forth, like a monkey should be doing. And everybody's watching there. All the people come to visit, and they're really impressed with this unbelievable ape. And he takes this thing a little too seriously and starts swinging, and accidentally swings a little too far, and he swings all the ways, and he falls into the next cage where they're full of lions. So all of a sudden he sees lions over there. He breaks out in a sweat, and he figures this is his end, and he starts screaming, Shema Yisrael, Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad, because he's ready to sacrifice his life. And as he finishes, the line next to him goes, Baruch Shem Kavod Malchus Olam Vod. At which point the bear in another cage says, Shah, still, or we'll all get fired.
Cute.
So the point I want to bring out is that just about every Jew who's ever walked into a shul, I don't care what denomination they are, they're familiar with this pasuk, and it's a very important pasuk, and we should really pay close attention to it. We're required to say Krishma twice a day, in the morning and the evening, and we spoke about that yesterday or 2 days ago. Mm-hmm. That's what we're learning right now in the Talmud. The Daf Yomi, that's exactly what we're up to right now, is the importance of Krishma and the importance of its concentration. Morning.
Morning.
By the way, if you notice, I bought coffee from Wawa today. Yesterday, Mr. Wolf, the gentleman, gave me money to buy coffee. He wanted to sponsor the coffee, and I brought the nice cups from 7-Eleven, and he gave me $5. So I decided not to go to 7-Eleven today, because I would have to buy, if I would have bought 3 of those cups. I generally have a policy, when you do somebody a favor, do a complete favor. To do somebody a half a favor
There's no favor.
Is no favor. Maybe it is. Like somebody asked me last night to give him a ride to Caesars. Mm-hmm. So I gave him a ride, and I parked. I was going to Caesars anyway, just coincidentally or not coincidentally. I was going to Caesars anyway, so I gave him a ride. And I dropped him off right in front. I said, "Look, I'm going to drop you off right in front of Caesars, and then I'm going to go park the car, and I'll walk across." So he says, "No, I'll take me to the parking lot. I'll walk back." I said, "No, if I'm going to do you a favor, I'm giving you door-to-door service. You know, I don't. I want the complete reward for this." Mm-hmm. I said, "I'm not so holy. I agree. I do mitzvahs to get the reward." Mm-hmm. You know, it says in Perik that you should not do something for its reward. You should do something because Hashem told you to do it. Mm-hmm. And one day of course, we do that as well. But one day I'll get to the level where I won't take it into consideration. That I hope Hashem will be pleased with me if I do a mitzvah and reward me. The same thing with learning Torah. A lot of people. Morning. A lot of people. It says you should learn Torah for the sake of learning, for the sake of Hashem. But if you're learning it because for other reasons, that's fine too. Mm-hmm. Because eventually you get to the point where you'll learn it and appreciate for what it is, without any ulterior motives. But if you have an ulterior motive for learning, learn anyway.
Gets it done.
So that's why I didn't get the 7-Eleven cups, because if I would have gotten the 7-Eleven, because I figured out the total amount I would have to spend would be $5.18.
He didn't buy the coffee.
Then he would not get the complete mitzvah. I mean, I wouldn't obviously take the 18 cents from him, and he would not have the complete mitzvah, so to speak. So I didn't want to put him in that category, so I decided I'm going to spend less than $5, which came out to $4.56 for these 3 cups, and the rest of the money I'm going to keep it. No, I'm going to give it to tzedakah. Charlie, it seems there's an extra cup of coffee here. If you would like to have it.
It's too early in the morning.
Too early? All right. Okay. Now, when we read the Krishma, it says, "V'haya hadvorim o'ela," and these words, this is God speaking. These words, "Asher nochem mitzavcha hayom," that I tell you today. So every day we repeat this phrase, and we say that these are the words that Hashem told us today. Well, you know, He didn't. Did He tell it to us today? He told it to us when He gave the Torah. So the obvious answer is that it's got to be to you every day anew. Every day you should look at that you just received it. My daughter, when she turned 18 years old, I gave her a car for her birthday. With one provision: she can't drive it, because I was nervous for her to drive it. I think it took a year till I allowed her to drive it. Or maybe I gave it to her on her 19th birthday, and she had to wait till 20. One of the most disappointing days of my life was when she took her driving test that she passed. I was hoping she would fail and she would realize that getting a driver's license is not so easy. And
She proved you wrong.
Because she proved me wrong. She calls me back. She calls me from the driving test, and I don't think I even waited for her to tell me. I said, as soon as I knew she was going for the driver's test, and as soon as she called me, I said, "ShIur, it's okay." She goes, "No, Daddy, I passed," and it was a little disappointing.
That's because you're a control freak.
That's because I'm a control freak, Charlie says. Absolutely. When it comes to my children, I always was a control freak. And I still am. She's 25 plus years old. My other daughter, who's 40 and a mother of 5, I like to control them. But I'm also respectful enough that if I tell them to do something and they give me a valid reason why they shouldn't, I'm not that stubborn. I have a certain amount of stubbornness, but I'm not that stubborn. I'm willing to listen to reason.
It's my father-in-law.
What?
That's my father-in-law.
That's your father-in-law. Okay. Well, how did I get into this? Oh,
Every day.
Every day. So after she got the car and she started driving it, I always say when you give somebody a gift, let's say I gave you a TV set. Let's say I got you a TV. So of course you would tell me thank you. When you watch it the first time, your big screen TV that I gave you, you should tell me, not necessarily me, you should tell the person who gave you a gift when you use it, thank you. Because the first time you give it for the thought of giving you a gift. The next time, when you're getting benefit out of it, you should thank him again, because now...
Thank you.
Okay, so Ari just told me thank you again for coffee, the talis, what?
The package deal.
Yeah, okay, you're very welcome.
Is this yours, Ari?
So,
Good morning, Pat.
so she would make it a habit, up until this day, practically. Well, I say practically because now she has a different car. But for about 6 years, she had that car. She loved the car. She gave it she named the car. Her license plate was the name of the car that she gave the car. And she would tell me on a regular basis, I'm going to say probably 100 times since I got her the car, she would tell me thank you, Daddy, for the car. Every time she enjoyed the car, when she got into the car, she told me thank you. When she got into an accident and nothing happened to her because it was a good car and it protected her, she told me thank you. She was constantly thanking me, and that's a good thing. I wanted to talk about the idea of thanking somebody. Why is it important to thank somebody? But I don't think we have enough time. What time is it?
We got 6 minutes.
We got 6 minutes. Okay, so in short order, and my wife, who's probably going to be listening to this, will have heard this like 100 times already, so I apologize. When you thank somebody, it is not, it's not, rather the other way around. Let's say I do somebody a favor. I get them a gift, or I provide for them a service. They should, I'm disappointed when they don't say thank you. And the reason I'm disappointed is not because I necessarily need a thank you. People do want to be thanked. It feels good to be appreciated. There's no question about it. But that's not why I want somebody to say thank you. And the reason I want somebody to say thank you, if I gave you a talis, of course it makes me feel good that you enjoying it and you appreciate it. there's no question about it. And that may be a reason why you should say thank you, to provide me that pleasure. I did you a kindness, you provide for me a pleasure. But the real reason you should say thank you is because you're required to show Hakaras Hatov. I want to know that my good friend Ari is a type of a person that will be of the character to recognize and show appreciation. When you don't say that thank you to me, I don't feel worse because you didn't say thank you. I've already done the favor for you. I feel bad that you're not that type of a person, that you don't have that good character in you to recognize kindness. So I sort of feel that, maybe I shouldn't be friendly with this guy. He's not a good guy. Maybe I shouldn't associate myself with people who don't show their appreciation to other people. This concept, by the way, since I've come up with, I've seen in books, I've heard speakers, that we really have to do. That's the entire reason we daven. Why do we daven for? Does Hashem doesn't need our thank you. Hashem doesn't become a better person. Hashem wants us to be good people and to have in us that. Actually, it should become an innate thing, that it should be automatic, that we should be of the level that we should show somebody appreciation. And that's why I also feel that it's important it's not only important to be that person, but you should be that person to the ultimate level. And, this morning, when I left the Warwick apartment, do I still have 2 minutes?
Yes, you do.
Okay. This morning when I left the Warwick, I noticed somebody coming out of the building, that lives in the building, and she was dressed like in a casino uniform. I'm not sure if she was a dealer or a pit boss, but she looked, and she was practically running up the block. So being that she lived in my building, and she wasn't a youngster either, so I said, good morning. I said, which way are you going? She goes, are you going towards the casinos? I'll give you a ride. So she goes, oh, that's so nice of you. I said, where do you work? So she tells me where she works. And I said, what time do you start? She goes, 8 o'clock. I go, oh, you still have more than a half hour. What's the rush? She goes, well, I start at 8. Doesn't mean I can get there at 8. She says, I have to get there. I have to do what I need to do to prepare for my job. And I have to be ready at 8 o'clock. In order for me to be ready at 8 o'clock, I have to get there usually no later than 1:45, and I allow myself at the time in case a jitney doesn't come right away or whatever. So I thought to myself, look at this. We have minyan here at 8 o'clock. We have a ShIur at a certain time, and the majority of people don't get here on time, and it's fascinating to me that if you were taking a flight somewhere or going to a movie or something, you'd go crazy to get there in the beginning. And here people walk in late, and it means nothing to them. I don't quite understand it. It's an enigma to me. Like, how can people walk into late? In general, to a business meeting, or certainly you come in to hear Torah or to daven, that people walk in and. But anyway, that's something that we should really work on. In the beginning of davening, it talks about isolates certain mitzvahs, which the reward for it is too great to even receive in this world. So we don't even get the complete reward in this world; we get it in the next world. And one of the things is coming on time to daven. Okay, we'll continue this tomorrow.
Got it.
Okay, have a good day and a good Shabbos.
Mendy, thank you for the show.
Okay, bye-bye.